2026. Wow, I actually cannot believe that we are here. 2026 sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie that I'm writing, somewhere far in the distant future, in a world far, far away where everything is silver and shiny and flying and smart. And I guess we're kind of there, right? I mean, the birth of AI, insane technology. I actually think I saw a flying car situation on Instagram the other day. People are planning to colonize Mars. Maybe, not sure. I think one of the biggest things about 2025 that shocks me has been the realization that as of now, I have officially birthed 2 adult men. Like, how is that even possible? It was also the rise of AI and this whole new dedication towards hyper productivity. Like, I thought that was my thing. I'll be honest, I've spent most of my life winning for the sheer fact that most people are lazy. I have built my entire legacy on the idea that if you just exert even the tiniest bit of effort, you'll be leaps and bounds beyond other people as a whole, because they just don't get much done. Enter AI, and suddenly there are thousands of new bots that do all the boring, menial tasks that used to get in the way of other people's greatness. And where does that leave me? Competing with everyone else's army of bots? Sometimes I feel like I'm stuck in the past. The world is racing towards shiny things, and yeah, they're cool, they're shiny, I like them. But also, I'm still listening to Alanis Morissette and playing Dr. Mario. I'm not even kidding. Like, this is actually how I spend my evenings. I miss the quiet, the calm life, the life when everybody didn't have this sense of entitlement over you answering their phone or text. Like, back in the old days when the phone was actually on the wall, like on a cord, and you couldn't even take it into your own bedroom, okay? So if somebody called, you had to actually get up off your bed, go down the hall to the kitchen or wherever it was that your phone was at, and answer it. And if you couldn't get there fast enough or just didn't want to, there was no expectation that you were actually going to. Like, people would call, they'd leave a message. If you wanted to, you'd call them back. You could screen your calls with no shame. Nowadays, it's like, I know you got my message. I saw how you were doom scrolling all day long. But good news, they have also invented plenty of little bots to control my inbox, and guess what else? They can text you right back and pretend to be me. Yep, they can even show up in my skin on all those damn Zoom calls I keep getting some to, the ones that should have been an email. Yeah, meanwhile, I'll just be here listening to my favorite playlist. Speaking of, my favorite piece of technology from back in the day was my giant black and silver, heavier than my heaviest Pog Slammer 8GB iPod. Yeah, I was one of those girls. A shuffle or even a regular iPod was not enough. I had like an entire lifetime of music stored on that thing. I'm serious, an entire lifetime. While I no longer have that iPod, I still have that playlist, and that is top quality technology, if you ask me. My iTunes still has all of the music that I put on it back in like the 8th grade or whatever, and every time I get a new iPhone, yep, still there. Who needs new music anyways? And don't you worry, this girl ain't getting left behind. So it'll be me and my Marbleism and Sintra armies leveling the competition. Yep, me and Alanis and Eva and maybe that Read AI guy that just entered the waiting room. We are ready for 2026. But before we jump all the way in, I just have to say something to all of you 20-somethings out there. I just lost the game. And so have you. Welcome to 2026 and Season 7 of The New Agenda. Welcome to The New Agenda. My name is Candace New, and I'm your host. This show is all about living your dreams. You're going to get tips and tricks every single week to help you move forward and make progress, and we're going to bring on incredible guests who are going to help you unpack how they found success in their own lives. So for today's adventure, we are going to head about an hour outside of Albuquerque up to Jemez Springs. And we are going to do one of my favorite things, a solo retreat. A restore and reflect retreat like this
is a wonderful way to set yourself up for success in the year to come. So it's restorative. First part, of course, is literally replenishing all of the things that have been depleted throughout the course of the last year. And so, I'm going to restore my peace, restore my body, restore my spirit, restore my mental capacity even. And then I'll begin to reflect on the year that has passed and what my intentions are for the year to come. And so this is a really great way to set yourself up for success at the close of a year. And the hot springs in December is one of my favorite things to do. So let's go on an adventure. Thanks for coming with me. All right, so we are here.
Just pulling up to the Jemez Hot Springs. I'm super excited. Gonna go for a nice, relaxing soak.
So I just left the hot springs, or I'm in my car. I'm leaving the hot springs now. And it was a really wonderful soak. I am headed to my cabin, which is just about 1 minute drive away. I could have walked, it would have taken me 6 minutes, but it's cold out and I have things, so I'm not going to do that. The road's a little windy, so I will check back in when I get there. So I just got here and this place is so cute. I literally could have walked. It's literally just a minute drive and it is adorable. I haven't gone inside yet, but you can see this adorable little cottage and this beautiful greenhouse. There's a sitting area over here and it looks really, really awesome. So let's go inside and check it out. All right. Unlocked, yes. Oh my God, this is so cute.
So here we are. Very adorable. There's just a cute little wood fireplace stove and a cute little kitchen. Oh my god, this place is so cute. I am really excited about this place. It is adorable. So I'll be spending the night here, just one night. If you had brought a friend, this is a pull-out couch as well. And this is the main bedroom, bathroom. And yeah, it's way cute.
Well, it was a really restful evening at the lovely cabin that I stayed at. And this morning I woke up and I'm driving back to Albuquerque. Well, I just got here. And I am getting ready to get a massage at Oriental Health Spa. It's not in Jemez Springs, but it is one of my favorite places to get a massage.
I am so excited to introduce you to more of my friends and continue traveling with you in season 7 of the new agenda. And that sound means it is time for our first guest. Hello, Rochelle. How are you? I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome. Go ahead and sit right there. Welcome in. Welcome in. So this is Rochelle Bussey of the New Mexico Film Office.
Yes, hi.
Now, Rochelle, I feel like I've known you for like a while.
Yeah.
But like we've emailed back and forth.
Always.
Like for years. And then I finally got to meet you in person this
Right.
past year. So
Yeah.
that was a great thing that came out of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know much about you.
Yep.
So I know you've been kind of a staple at the film office for a while.
A while.
There's been a lot of other changes. And
Yes.
you've stuck through all of it. So I'd love to just kind of hear about your journey and how you even got started in this world at all.
Sure. I mean, I've been with the State Film Office now since 2004, which some people think that that's been forever, and it has, but it's been great. I previously was working with Governor Bill Richardson, and traveled around with him, was his personal assistant, and was really just needing a change. And he said, well, what do you want to do, Rochelle? And I had no idea. And I was asking, different people, what would you do? Where would you go? What do you think? And people are like, you don't want to go to this department because you'll just be pushing paper. You don't want to go to this place because you'll just be sitting at your desk all the time. And so someone had mentioned the New Mexico State Film Office, which was one of the governor's big initiatives at the time. And I said, I don't know anything about film and TV. Why would I want to do that?
Right.
And it really was just a challenge. It was a challenge that I thought would be interesting and exciting and not pushing a lot of paper, although we do still do that.
Of course.
And sitting at your desk, there are times that we get to go to set, which is great. So I chose to go to the film office, and it's been a labor of love since then. It's been great. It's been great.
So I'm very curious, and I want to come back. I want to come back to the film office stuff, but I'm curious because you started off talking about working with the governor.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, I want to go even before that. How did you did you decide
question.
you wanted to go into politics?
Right.
How did you get there? Where did you start off, and how did you get there?
So we'll go back a bit. So college, graduated from Colorado College.
Mm-hmm.
Environmental science, emphasis geology.
Okay.
Which
rocks? You like rocks?
I do. I love road cuts and rocks. But I ended up not doing any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was interning with my dad at his law firm, and he specializes in Native American law. And I said, this is something I'd love to do. What do I do, Dad? Take the LSATs, study for the LSATs, took the LSATs, bombed them.
Okay.
So that wasn't really, my calling. And so I decided, well, what else can I do with Native Americans? And so at the time, with the administration in D.C., I wanted to work with the Department of Indian Affairs. And so I talked to my dad about that. How do I get this going? The position that I was looking for was actually politically appointed under President Bill Clinton at the time. And so, we worked on some recommendations. I got the right recommendation, got it to the West Wing, presidential personnel.
Wow.
They called me in, interviewed me, and said, we'd actually love to have you here in our office. And I was like, all right.
Wow.
Let's think about this, And so I really focused on that, got the interview, went and interviewed with them, and got the job. So I was working in presidential personnel, which was great. And then that transitioned into me being an assistant in the West Wing for the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President. So I ended up in the West Wing.
How does nobody know this
I
about
know,
you?
it's crazy.
What? Okay. And how did you start your story at, I was working for Bill Richardson? What? Okay. All right, continue.
And so, it was an amazing experience. I think it's an experience where if you're young and willing and don't have any attachments, that you can do because you're working, all the time, 24/7. And so I ended with the Clinton administration, closed down the White House, and then the new administration came in. And then from there, I kind of stayed in the political world because I feel like with the political world, the teams kind of travel, around with each other. And so the group of folks that I was with, they ended up going to California and working for Governor Gray Davis there. And so I ended up working for him on his political campaign. And it was great. It was wonderful. It was 2 years of raising funds for Governor Gray Davis and his campaign to be governor, and we got him elected. And then I decided to move to New Mexico, and then that's where my story, where I grew up in Santa Fe, and so it was natural to return back to home.
Sure.
And so that's where my story with Governor Richardson begins.
Amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
So I had no idea.
A little
I'm
bit
not
of a
really
rewind.
prepared for all of this. This is amazing. Okay, so then you started working in the film office. You've been there for, long enough for me to have birthed
over
2
20
adult men.
Yeah.
And wow. And what have been some of the highlights of the work that you've gotten to do there?
At the film office, it's been great. It's so rewarding to see the industry where it was when I came in to the office back in 2004. And now here we are in 2025. This is my 3rd administration.
Right.
And so it's been a labor of love. It's been great to see our crew, when work is well and things are going well with the industry in general. They went from working on a production, taking a break, getting unemployment,
Right.
and then looking for their next job, phasing to working from job to job and actually having the next job lined up before they, stop this job, and really being able to provide for their families. I think that's the most rewarding thing that I love about my job is that I feel like I'm really helping individuals, helping New Mexicans in the film and television industry. And so seeing that they can, have health insurance, that they can buy that house, that they can buy that car, that they can provide for their families, it's really rewarding. And honestly, I'm just so proud of it.
Yeah.
And it's been a couple of years to get to where we are, but it's been progressing. So it's been wonderful to see that.
Absolutely. So I know that we have a video from the film office.
Yes.
So we'll cut to that, and then when we get back, we can talk a little bit about what makes New Mexico such a great place for production.
Sounds great.
We'll cut to that now.
Hey, you. Producer, exec, filmmaker. Yeah, you. Stop eating the popcorn. And listen for a second. Are you dreaming about your next project? Is New Mexico on your radar? We're talking up to a 40% refundable tax credit, one of the best in the U.S. 1,000 links in one state. The crew? Seasoned. Union strong. And talented actors? Check. Make your dream. Make it here. New Mexico Film.
So obviously, I'm a New Mexico native. I've been here for most of my life. My parents are divorced, so I've also spent some time in Nebraska. But I know that New Mexico is breathtakingly beautiful.
Yeah.
But there are so many other things that make it a great place for production. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
It is great, yes. I think that New Mexico is very unique and it sets itself apart because, like you said, we've got beautiful landscapes. I feel like we can double for a lot of other places, Afghanistan, our bordering states, Colorado, Arizona, Mexico, Texas, and we really focus on our crew. So I think our crew is top of the line. And all of the departments, everyone from entry level to advanced, they're all skilled up and well equipped to tackle anything, which is great.
Right.
And also our incentives. We're base 25% up to 40%. We've had that base 25 for a number of years now, and so we know that it's tried and true, and it's a good and healthy place to be.
Right.
But with the uplifts, 10% for rural, 5% for TV series, and 5% for a qualified production facility, it's unbeatable. We also offer other credits for the Film Crew Investment Program, which is
Right.
wonderful. It's a great program to upskill our local crew members. They can use it and advance within the department.
So let's talk a little bit about some of these things, because I know that, especially for local independent filmmakers who maybe they're not as well versed in
Yeah.
these incentives, right? Because they're not going probably anywhere else to get them. They may not realize that they can use them here.
Absolutely.
And there's no minimum spend,
No
correct?
minimum spend.
So you can have a project that's a $5,000 budget if you want to do the paperwork. That's a
Yeah.
lot of paperwork, okay, for a $5,000 budget. But you can do it.
Yeah.
We had a $40,000 project. I think it ended up being a $70,000 budget by the time we added everything in. And we were able to submit that for the rebates as
Great.
well.
Great.
And because of these uplifts, which basically means that if you're filming in particular locations or with particular in certain circumstances, there's additional on top of that 25% back.
Exactly.
So when we're talking about this tax incentive, it's 25% of the total that you are spending on qualifying expenses.
Expenditures, yeah.
So it's not like 25% of the taxes that you would pay, guys. It's 25% of what you've spent on the qualifying expenditures. So if I spent $70,000 on qualifying expenditures because all of my crew was from New Mexico, plus I filmed at a qualified film production facility in the state, and if that was rural, I'm going to get even more of an uplift.
10%.
Yep. And then if you're filming a television series and you have to film, I think, at least 4 episodes here or something like that.
Exactly. 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you get an additional bump for that.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, it's anything that really has a New Mexico GRT tied to it.
Right.
So vendors, crew, locations, food trucks, cleaners,
Yep.
lumber, all of the good stuff.
Pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything that you don't order on the internet and then bring in.
Exactly.
That's problematic.
Yes. Yeah.
And then there's the film the crew advancement program.
Exactly.
This is really exciting. It's one of my favorite things, especially because we deal with emerging filmmakers
Yeah.
at Katharsis with our apprenticeship programs. And so this program is basically where you have whatever your highest credit is on a $200,000 or more production. That next level, if a production will bring you on and give you that role,
Yep.
then the film office is going to, or the state, the New Mexico state, is going to reimburse, I think, 50%
Yep.
of their wages.
Wages only.
Which is crazy. It's
Yeah.
just crazy. I
It's
mean,
a
that's
great-
amazing.
It's a great program, and it's on top of the 25% refundable tax credit base.
Right.
So it's really a win-win. It's a great way for productions to hire local crew. It's a great way for crew to use the program to put on their resume, I'm F-capable,
Right.
which means that when a production gets your resume and they look at it and they say, oh, this is great, Rochelle, she's been a office PA for 3 or 4 times. Let's bring her in as a production secretary.
Right.
So knowing that I've got that experience and then bumping me up, giving me that higher credits, giving
Right.
me that higher wage, it's just a win-win for everyone. So it's a great opportunity for our local crew to take advantage of. And I've really seen a lot of individuals who have come in through the program as a PA entry-level position,
Right.
work their way up. They're now a key or head, and now they are in turn our mentors to our FCAP trainees.
Right.
So every FCAP trainee has to have an onset mentor just to kind of guide them and sort of
Right.
ask, hey, would you suggest I do it this way or this way? And so it's been really full circle to see some of those FCAP trainees now be FCAP mentors. So
That's exciting.
It's really fun. Yeah, it's exciting. It's great for New Mexico.
All right, so it looks like it's about time to bring on our next guest.
Oh, okay.
So I'm super excited to bring out somebody else that I had the incredible pleasure of meeting this past year, Mateo Frazier. come on out. Hey,
Hello,
how are you doing?
Well, how are you?
I'm quite well. Come on in, sit down. Mateo, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
I realized I asked you that already, but it's
Yep.
been a long day. It's been a long year. It's 2026 already. Yeah.
It is. Happy 2026.
Happy 2026. Yeah. So, Mateo, let's kind of jump right in.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you're currently running the MAC, which
Mhm.
we're going to talk about in a minute, but I have no idea about where you came from. So apparently I didn't know anything about Rochelle either. So I'm very interested to hear about how you got started and where you're headed.
Okay. So I'm a rural kid. I grew up in Alamosa, Colorado.
He's going to be like, when
yeah.
I crawled out of my mother's womb.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So Alamosa, Colorado, just across the border, right? The northern tip of Aztlan, we like to call it, right? It's
Okay.
more New Mexico than Colorado, the San Luis Valley. I
Okay.
mean, culture-wise, it feels that way. And my folks were, not together most of my life, so I'd split time between New Mexico and Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so grew up in both places, and fell in love with movies as a young kid in a really cold place, an isolated place, and it was escape,
Yeah.
So it was just always something that I wanted to do.
And so how did you get where you are now?
How did I get where I am?
Yeah, because I mean, everybody's like, I want to be in the movies, but how do you get there? Like, how did you get to
know.
being in this industry at all?
It was a meandering path, So I knew I wanted to go to film school, but at that time there really wasn't a whole lot of options, right? So, and this is the mid '90s, and it was like you go out to the coast. I think College of Santa Fe had a program called the Moving Image Arts program. It was more of a kind of an art tour program. It was experimental film,
Right.
private college. So I was like, oh, well, and then I looked around. I ended up going to UNLV in Las Vegas because they had a film studies program
Okay.
under the Western Undergraduate Exchange program. So I thought, okay, we'll go out there. And then came back to New Mexico, did stuff, kind of like music was kind of where I started. And then was a firefighter for a little bit.
Wow.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then, you have a 96
Right.
schedule as a firefighter. So this was in 2008. It's about 2007. It's about when I met Rochelle. Actually, I did.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Wow.
about the time. Yeah, about 2006, 2007.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute. I know, it's been a minute. And we were there under the Richardson administration. They were like gearing up to expand crew, and they were creating these things called film technician training programs.
Right.
And I was working on my days between the fire department at Northern New Mexico College teaching, and picked it up. Just decided, to start a program up there, and then from there it's all just been kind of a blur.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
And so, what are you doing now?
What am I doing now?
Yeah.
So I'm the executive director of the New Mexico Media Arts Collective, and that's it's a program that started out as the New Mexico Media Academy or Next Generation Media Academy. It's been through several names, right? Yeah. And the idea was, I think at one point, was to expand, kind of expedite the building of crew for, we were in peak production years in the state of New Mexico.
Right.
And around two big infrastructure investments, one in Las Cruces, which has a growing film economy, which is really exciting, and then at the rail yards in Albuquerque. So taking the old boiler shop, City of Albuquerque, Economic Development Department, and C&M all partnered to revitalize the boiler shop and kind of repurpose it as a media and film education hub. And I'm doing the economic development department piece of that.
So I had the opportunity to take a walkthrough of the current state of the facility that's going up. So let's cut to that, and then we'll come back. So I just pulled up to the rail yards where the new Film Academy is being built, and we're going to get the opportunity to go on a behind-the-scenes tour. Super excited, so stay tuned and let's see what's going on.
So this is our main entrance to the boiler shop. So this is what will function as our main entrance into the building. This is our lobby. So you could see on this side we have what we're calling our learning stairs. So that will be like bleacher seating. It'll be radiant heating because the superstructure isn't heated or cooled. Not that we've had like a real fluctuation of temperature in here since we've started building. In this center, we'll have like this table so you could do presentations. So this space will be outfitted with audio visual. So we'll have speakers on this side with a screen here so you could mic up and do presentations here. But it's also linked to our screening room that's right there. The idea is that we'll have mics and cameras picking up what's going on in there so that we could project it here so we could have an overflow into this area for any big presentations that we're doing. But that's this space. So this is our screening room. It's a 100-seat theater. Also, because we're our skilled trades and art, it has a theater component, so there's a small stage at the front for that. But essentially, this is going to be our post-production studio. We'll have seating, and then in the center, we'll have our mixing console. Our projector booth is up there, so your screen will be on this side. But Alan could give more info on.
Yeah, so what it'll be is it'll be a full color correction and a full audio correction. It'll be a full Atmos theater, 22.2.12 speaker system. It's one of the highest Adobe Atmos theater systems for education use that's being put in outside of LA. The consoles, like I said, will be up here. They will be the full Avid S6 boards with 32 faders, the 25-foot screen, along with an HDR laser projector upstairs, which will be fantastic for our students to be able to do full mixing and scoring within this facility. And what's really cool is it will be a full licensed theater, so that whatever's edited or mixed here is fully licensed to go out as Adobe, which is incredible. So it'll be the only one. When Netflix came and visited, they just were like, what? Wait, what? You guys are actually doing this? It's what they wanted to do for their complex, but we're actually doing it. So Mateo, we've got a great deal going on with that. So it'll be a fantastic theater. It's 100 seats, which is awesome. We're gonna look for community partners. It will be able to be rented out. It'll be, monetized so that students can get on as interns to be able to start training for that side of the industry. So yeah, and it'll be partnered with the upstairs recording studios, which will be great because up there, what's mixed and done up there with the music recording studios will be able to come down here and be able to be finalized down here. So it's a state-of-the-art system that we're putting in. So we'll show some movies. We'll show football or something. I don't know.
So this is one of two educational sound stages. How we've mentioned, this is a collaborative with the New Mexico Media Arts Collective. So there's CNN spaces and then there's their spaces. So this is a CNN space. There's one of two. We're adjacent to classrooms and storage. As you may have seen at other sound stages, it's covered with Insa quilts. So we will have that up until the 10-foot nailer that you see on the wall currently. At that point below, it's going to be tectum panels, and it looks like ramen noodles before you put the water in it, but just painted black. We'll have the wood flooring. We couldn't recess it in this space because we have the train tracks going through it, and we had to maintain it for historic reasons. This space on this south side, we built pretty much almost to the existing structure. So if you were to go on the roof, the existing structure is about to my waist, so you'd have to, our port maintenance guys, we do have like exhaust units up there, so they have to like crawl underneath the trusses. But we really wanted to maximize the use of the space and the height. We have elephant doors, they're gonna be motorized. They are lined to the structure of the boiler shop, so those doors out there are bifold doors, so they've been restored so that they could be operable again, and that's going to be how they get large things in and out of the stage. So the layout of this space is really to optimize the use without classes interrupting each other, so we have the two educational sound stages with the equipment lab in the middle so that they could both get what they need from here. So yeah, this is kind of the orientation of this, but then you see here we have what will be an overhead rolling door that also matches up to where the bifold doors are, so they could come in and out. We restored the outer corridor. Beyond that, it's what's called the transfer table, which is dipped in. But that's how they used to move the locomotives up and down along this corridor to bring them from the machine shop into the boiler shop or down to the other side where they had the paint booth. But yeah, this is we're making use of historic elements to serve our use, which is how we ended up with the floor plan that we have. This is the second soundstage, identical to the first one, also just for CNN use. Glass that you can't see through is actually chosen and selected by the Historic Preservation Office, so we had to use that. The green, again, not historic but iconic, and then so the architect and the contractor meticulously mapped where they were and replaced it exactly where you see them now. And where it's clear, it's just kind of tributes to all the broken glass we had when we started this project. So it creates like this beautiful effect.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
So this is our production level soundstage. So this is going to be ran by the New Mexico Media Arts Collective, by Mateo, wherever he is, right there. So very similar with the Tectum wall panels, the Insequil will have the grid structure below the ducts. It has its own air handler system. It'll be on the red light as well. We have 2 different power stations with emergency shutoffs and things like that. It'll also have the wood floor. This one has 2 elephant doors versus just the one. We have one going out to the south side of the building, and then we have this one because we're at the west side of the building. We also have an overhead rolling door that is easy to access. So we're just trying to give production companies that come here the most access, ease of access as possible. So this is going to have the CNM mill where students learn to build sets for filming. It's also going to have a fabrications lab. The open area will be just mill yards for storage, and it'll also have like equipment like the dust collection system and the air compressors, paint tools, and things like that. But yeah, we're hoping to get this on its way soon. So this is what we're calling the flex space. This is also going to be a New Mexico Media Arts Collective space. It's outfitted the exact same way as the sound stages are, so with STA treated walls. This is the only place that I could recess the floor because we don't have the train tracks in here, so you could see the lip where the wood floor is going to be. Because we're calling this the flex space, it will have like a company switch, but we're also trying to just put like a little bit of data and power for basic computer needs in case that is trying to act as a space that helps production companies in the screening room. It's single story. The north side is 2 stories. So the first story is gonna have that flex space. It's gonna have a hair, makeup room, a sewing lab, computer lab, a regular classroom. On the second floor, we're going to have the New Mexico Media Arts Collective offices, CNM offices, conference rooms, and then we're going to have 2 recording studios with control rooms. We also have a flex classroom, which acts as the regular classroom, but because it's adjacent to a control room, we're putting inputs for audio so that you could record a larger ensemble. So we kind of have 3 recording studios up there.
So the MAC is the building, or the MAC is
a program.
Okay.
Right? And so it's adjacent to the CNM Film and Media program that's going to be there, right? That's
Right.
a higher ed program, but that's a college, it's an institution. And then we have in that space a 10,000 square foot soundstage that we're looking at lots of ways to activate, and then some other flex production space, with virtual production. We've got some ideas about that too. And then collaborating with what we call the Consortium of Educational Partners, which is there's 15 colleges and universities around the state that have varying degrees of film and media programming.
Right.
And we kind of serve as a hub, as a convener of those colleges and universities around what the needs are, and getting folks that last mile from education into paid positions in the industry.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, I'd love to know, actually, as we go kind of back into our past, like, what were your favorite pieces of technology from the past? I told you guys, like, mine, if you were listening this morning, was I had this 8 gigabyte iPod, right? I didn't have the little shuffle. I had this,
Love
the
that.
one that has the music I still listen to on it.
Yeah.
But what did you guys, like, what did you find as technology-wise, like, as you were kids or younger?
The Walkman.
The Walkman. Oh, man. Okay.
Mine's related to that. I
Yeah.
loved making mixtapes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The double deck.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I miss that, but I loved that you could do that.
Yeah.
And I think I still have a couple in my, bottom drawer somewhere.
Right, somewhere you have a tape player, like
Exactly.
a cassette tape player
Yeah.
to play them on. It's good to know, guys. If the end of the world ever happens and you need a cassette tape player, find Rochelle. She'll still be in the film office. And what about, like, looking forward? What kind of, like, what's really exciting about, like, technology that's emerging right now, or that they're talking about happening in the future?
I think this is the democratization of high fidelity production at scale, at orders of magnitude, fractions of pennies
Right.
less.
Yeah.
Like the worlds you can build.
Yeah.
So I know that there's a lot of concern about displacement, existential crisis in our industry. It's an ongoing
Right.
conversation, but I think for emerging creatives, like, it couldn't be more democratizing.
Right.
I mean, the platforms, your ability to distribute to the world within seconds
Right.
at fidelity, at 4K, this is all very new. The consolidation of the entire entertainment industry into technology, which is really interesting, because that wasn't the thing, right?
Right.
There was the showbiz, there was the studios, and showbiz and studios, and then there was technology, and they were separate. And now we're in a world where technology is pretty much consolidated
Right.
most of show business, right?
Yep.
Started with music and now into film and television. But creatives, at the same time, you could be somebody from some place that nobody's ever heard of, and if you have the right idea, you can share it at scale
And you can make it happen.
for very little money.
Even just the ability to have the kind of special effects that used to cost tons and tons of money that we wouldn't have access to, right, on my little low budget projects, like, all of a sudden those things are real. Those things are accessible to me, which is really great. I can make really high quality, really exciting content. I can tell the stories I want to tell that used to be, like, out of a budget. If you wrote a fantasy script, it was just, like, laughed at.
Yeah.
And now it's like, no, we can totally do that. We can build worlds inside of all these engines and things, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And so, there's, like, a little bit of a death there, because,
Yeah.
like, back in the day when I wanted to be an actress, okay, like a long time ago, like, one of the reasons why was because I just wanted to, like, go do all the really cool things without actually, like, having to do it. So I wanted to, like, do, like, on the Armageddon set when they got to actually go float in the vacuum sealed compartment. Like, I wanted to do that. I didn't want to be an astronaut and do anything else, but, like, just that thing, or, like, go pretend to, like, save lives, like, not be a real firefighter. Sorry. But, like, have all the cool things. So now it is kind of sad. Like,
Yeah.
there's some of those moments where it's like the whole worlds that you were building, like, now they're just green screened or whatever.
Yeah.
And not always, but I do think that
Well,
was
they're generated.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But I just mean, like, they're not like
Yeah.
they're not building them anymore,
No.
which is sad.
Yeah.
But also, like, the cost of that was ridiculous. So, so now it makes it really accessible. So
Yeah.
that's really
I
exciting.
look at
to be
it
able
like
to
it's
tell
an awesome
stories.
thing for like, okay, so if you had a great story about a specific community and the community wasn't big enough to make it marketable, right? Or
Right.
to make it viable, then it didn't get made, right? But now you can make things at fidelity, for smaller scale communities.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting,
Yeah.
right? You're going to see things, I think people are going to really be blown away. At the same time, it's transition, and it's going to be a
Yep.
little bumpy, and
Yep.
It's gonna change.
Well, it's kind of like, when computers came around, like back in the day, people were like worried that it was going to displace all these jobs and it would be the end of things. And the reality is that we as humans adapt.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. We need to figure out how do we use these tools to bolster our skills, and then we can go to the next level.
Yeah.
Now we have new doorways that open
Yeah.
up that we can really kind of climb into and see what that world's like. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, remember we had to overcome the Y2K hurdle?
Oh my gosh, yes.
And that was such a big deal. And now it's like that's nothing compared
Right.
to what is happening with AI and everything now. But I just remember that being so stressful, and that was like such a new techie something that the world was stressing about. And
Right, like literally they were like worried that everything was going to go
Yeah.
offline and
Yeah.
explosions and death and Armageddon, and it was
Right.
like, and then it went to 11:59, 12 o'clock, and everything was fine.
Right. Yeah.
Except for the people that drank the Kool-Aid, of
Like
course.
40 cans of tuna.
Right.
It's like if people did that.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
anyways.
I did that.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, in relation to Y2K, let's break out or let's go into the intentional moment where we're going to talk about planning for the upcoming year. Okay, quick check-in. It's officially January 3rd. We're officially 3 days into 2026, so be honest. How are those resolutions going? According to an Inside Out Mastery article, 2024, only 9% of people successfully keep their New Year's resolutions each year. 23% quit in the first week, 64% by the end of the first month, and 81% before the end of the year. Strava, a running and cycling app, identified the second Friday in January as Quitter's Day, when most people abandon their goals. 43% of people actually expect to give up on their goals by February. If you're feeling motivated, amazing. If you're already tired, discouraged, or feeling behind, also very normal. And it doesn't mean that you failed. So what's the difference between the 9% who follow through and the 81% who burn out? It's not willpower, it's not discipline, and it's definitely not setting more ambitious goals. It's skills. The people who stay in the 9% build capacity before they demand performance. They restore before they resolve. They reflect before they recommit. They build systems instead of relying on motivation. That's the work that we're starting this year. Today is not about fixing your goals. It's not about pushing harder, and it's not about starting over. Today is about resetting the foundation that you're building on in 2026. I'm going to share 2 practices, one restorative and one reflective, pulled from my longer Restore and Reflect retreat that I talked to you about earlier today, that I've curated just for you. You're not doing the full retreat today. This is just a couple of things from that retreat that you can incorporate into your practice right now. A way to steady yourself before we move forward. Practice 1, settle the body. This one is simple but powerful. Sit comfortably. Place one hand on your chest and one on your stomach. Take a slow breath in through your nose, and you'll let your stomach rise. Exhale longer through your mouth, longer than you inhale. We're going to do that 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and let your body just be heavy. You're not trying to feel calm, you're just letting your nerves and your nervous system downshift. This is a small practice you can incorporate anytime you need a little restoration in your day. Practice 2, small but also important, reflection. You can't build a sustainable year on top of exhaustion. So before we double down on goals,
we need to understand what we carried into 2026 in the first place. This is where reflection comes in. And today we're going to keep it simple. So grab a notebook and a fresh page and write this at the top. What made 2025 heavier than it needed to be? Not goals, not failures, just friction. People, commitments, habits, roles, things you tolerated longer than you should have. List them. If it shows up more than once, circle it. You're not fixing anything yet, you're just noticing. And noticing is where sustainable change begins. So pause the video and take 10 minutes to complete this. If these 2 practices helped you and you're thinking, okay, this explains why this year already feels heavy, the full Restore and Reflect guide goes much deeper without overwhelm. Scan the QR code on your screen or comment retreat below and we'll send you the full guide. And make sure you tune in next week because that's when we turn this clarity into intentions and goals for 2026 built on a foundation that actually supports you. And if you feel like you're left behind, you're not. Honestly, the crazy busyness of the holidays is not the perfect time to build this foundation. January 1 is just a day, and it comes right after one of the busiest and most exhausting times of the year. It's probably not the best time to try to build a solid foundation for the year to come. So if you're watching this a little bit later, maybe something you came across on YouTube or on another network playing a rerun, remember this. You didn't miss anything. January 1 is just a date on a calendar. You're coming to this at the exact moment that is right for you. Now is the right time. It's not too late. You didn't miss your chance. We're rebuilding the foundation, and this year, we're staying in the 9%.
All right, so planning for a whole year. It seems like a lot. It's personally, I love backwards planning. So for me, this is huge. Having the whole calendar there where I can see the whole thing is really important for me. Mm-hmm. But how do you guys prepare for a fruitful and productive new year?
Good question. I like being just in the moment for me. Really focusing on the space that I'm in and contributing to that as much as I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I do? I started thinking a few years ago where I create like a 4-minute film.
Okay.
Visual aid, kind of like people do vision boards or something
okay.
like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I have this film, so I think about my goals for the year and then I create a 4-minute film and then I try to watch it regularly.
Really?
Yeah, and I put myself in as the character, which makes it really fun with AI now.
I like that.
I feel like we need a copy of one of these videos.
No, this is my
We
vision.
implement our own Candace.
Yeah, that's the idea. Everybody
She's
makes their own. We
like-
could have a little party where everybody makes their own.
Oh
that
my
would be
gosh,
fun.
that is a great idea. We're doing that. This is gonna be an offline party. Sorry, y'all. There's gonna be drinks and there's gonna be videos of us on these.
Yep.
And Mateo is going to lead a master class on making your 4-minute video.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'll sign
I
me
think
up.
that's really great
Sign me
though.
up. No,
And
that's
so, kind of like a mantra, you watch it or you kind of revisit when you need to refresh or remember your, kind of why you're doing this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so my best friend is Deidre Michelle, Demi Talent. And we constantly, whenever we're in the midst of, the chaos of, the grunt of and the grind of the work that we do here, and you kind of, lose hope and you're spiraling a little bit, we will call each other or text each other and remind each other, hey, you signed up for this, and here's why. Mm-hmm. And so, for me, I don't have a video, I have a best friend, which I love. But sometimes, it's just, I don't know, having surgery or children or busy on a project. So it'd be nice to also have something and be let me just remind myself instead of relying on somebody else. But I love that. That's a great idea.
It's a great idea. I like that. I'm going to have to do that.
Do you guys have any big kind of goals or things that you're planning on doing this year? Whether professionally or personally?
I feel like for myself, I'd love to be outdoors more.
Okay.
Whether that's here in New Mexico, which I feel like there's a lot of New Mexico that I haven't seen that I'd love to see with my son. That's something that I would love to do locally in New Mexico, but also around the world. I think I'd love to be outdoors more.
I am trying to get ready to go hike Machu Picchu.
Love it.
So if you want to go with me, we could do that. That could be fun.
That could be fun.
That could be fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's not a 2026 goal, but
Okay.
maybe a 2027 goal.
Very cool.
But it's definitely something like the goal is definitely to like be in the physical fitness shape to be able to do that.
Okay.
So my mother and I were going to go hike Machu Picchu in 2020. And so we spent the whole, year before that, like training and prepping. And then of course, 2020 hits and, and so then we just, and now hiking like 4 or 5 miles and I'm like, I'm going to need to do this more often. But yeah.
Okay. I can help you with that.
That's awesome. Yes. Okay, good. Hiking buddy. How about you?
So this year, something I'm really into, it's kind of, let's talk about the AI thing, is this idea that, on the other side of all this amazing technology, what our purpose is, why I got into movies was about meaning making, right? The idea of a collaborative or, being able to get an audience and somehow get people to feel something about meaning in a space together, right? So on the other side of this thing that we're kind of heading into, like, how do you maintain your humanness? How do you, what they call alignment, all of these things. And I'm really interested in being a part of that conversation.
I love that.
Yeah, because we're going to need it, right? Because we're going to have all the tools and bells and whistles, and then, but you got to, how are we going to make it so it means something to people and it actually serves us in a way that's, it's affirming.
Yeah, and it moves our goals forward and not just the kind of.
Because we can solve a lot of problems, but it could also, there's two different there's lots of different versions, you know, that there's some pretty optimistic versions too.
Yeah.
But so that's what I'm focused on this year.
That is really incredible. I think one of my goals for this year is to make it to France.
Oh.
I took 7 years of French, so that I could not ever go.
Awesome.
So I think it's about time to do that. And if I can pair it with Paris Fashion Week, then we're in a really good spot. I have a good friend who was in Paris Fashion Week last year, hoping she'll make it in this year, and then we'll go together. So that'll be good.
I watch Emily in Paris.
I started watching it and I wasn't super into it.
It's ambient television.
Does that mean like in the
well,
background?
you can but it's like
I hate that.
I know, but it's like something about it. I couldn't tell you any of the characters except for Emily.
Wow, okay. And that's because her name's
But when
in
I'm
the title.
traveling, it just lowers my blood pressure. So
when you're traveling,
try it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not anxious about going. I just haven't made it yet.
This is not pluribus, okay? It's not cerebral, and it's not, but, does another thing. Yeah, try it out.
Got it. Emily in Paris. Just put it on in the background. It's going to give me some courage.
Exactly.
Well, this has been a really wonderful adventure having you guys on my show today. A perfect way, I think, to start off the new year, to kick off season 7 of The New Agenda.
Wonderful.
And so thank you guys so much for joining me, and it's time for a new
New
agenda.
agenda.